Yo, did I call this or what? So, yep, this is going to be my second video in a row because Mr. Dave Hollis on Instagram has posted his apology. Here it is. Um, so I'm gonna be blind reacting to this with you because I haven't read it yet. I saw it. It's not that long. It's kind of long, but I'm just going to read it out loud and give you my thoughts, I guess. So, Mr. Dave Hollis says, "Hi, friends. Quick note to acknowledge something from the weekend I'm just so disappointed in. Something that's rightly left people upset for the way my words and tone made them feel. It's so disconnected from who I aspire to be, and how I hope to consistently serve that I want to be clear in owning that I was wrong and offer an apology." Um, okay. So, I don't I don't understand. Actually, let me finish reading this before I criticize him. Um, okay. Says, "I did an Instagram live on Saturday morning where the passion I have for this book came off in such an embarrassing and inappropriate way. I suggested that I didn't understand how you could follow me and not buy a book. Took it a step further and said that if you didn't want to get one, you should unfollow me. I mean, who in the world says that? I don't recognize the person in the video. Don't know in what universe this would be okay. It's not. I knew it when it was done and took it down quickly, but still said what I did, and it's worth a response." Okay, so Dave, like, just because you said something and then looked it over and were like, this is gonna hurt my book sales and removed it, like, the fact that you said that at all is really, really telling, in my opinion. Um, I don't understand his point here of like, that's not who I am. Okay, so why did you do it then? Like, there's a lot of things that I'm not, but I never catch myself slipping up and doing them. Um, he went on for 2 hours. The way that he treated his kids, I didn't talk about it in the last video, and I might eventually, but I don't really want to sort through the whole thing. But basically, throughout this 2 hour Instagram live, he tells his 3-year-old daughter Noah to get a life at one point when she asks him if she can have more gummy vitamins. She keeps asking to eat breakfast and have pancakes made for her, which, like, yeah, she's 3. She can't make pancakes or serve herself breakfast. She's hungry. Um, and she asks for like an hour and a half, and he keeps telling her, "All right, just wait a minute, just wait a minute." Um, and I really, I really think that this is Dave. Like, the person that he showed us on the live is Dave because he couldn't script it. He couldn't have something planned in advance. He said the things that he said because they were coming from his heart, which is apparently shriveled up and gross. So I'll continue reading. He says, "What I see is a scared little boy that still gives into his fear, that had me show up in a way that I'm just so embarrassed of. I've often mentioned I'm a work in progress. But man, if I didn't show how much more work I still have to do in this journey of being human, this step backward is one that my time with my therapist will hopefully help me better understand how and why I acted the way I did in the pressure of a launch." Didn't it? I mean, I know it launched recently, but not that recently, right? Like, it's been at least a week. And I mean, I know that's like still at the beginning of the launch, but like, yeah, am I supposed to excuse the pressure of the launch for the way he acted in that? So it says, "To be clear, I value every single one of you who chooses to be here, and the luxury of your community comes with no contingency. You don't ever need to do anything to be here, be it buy a book or anything else. So why did you say it, Dave? Like, you can't just, oh my god. I understand and support anyone who decides that they want to unfollow after my ridiculous invitation to do so. I'm not sure I deserve your presence, but know I'll continue to work to show that unrecognizably scared, exhausted, foot and mouth version Saturday is viewed as an exception and sign of my humanness, not by these words, but by my actions in the future. There is no excusing it, I just have to do better. I appreciate all of the support that this community has afforded me, has afforded over the years and appreciate the accountability that's being offered now. In a season where I'm trying to teach, I continue to find myself a student. That's not that poetic, Dave. Um, it's with a heavy heart that I offer my sincerest apologies. So, okay, I don't even want to read Heidi's response to that. Um, okay, so I find this interesting because at no point did he acknowledge the way that he treated his kids. Um, and I don't know if A, he just forgot, B, he didn't want to put them out there publicly so that people would see it, or C, he didn't think he did anything wrong. The way that he treated his children was disrespectful at best. Um, People are saying, "Oh, well, she can go get her own breakfast. Like, why does Dave have to do it?" She's 3. She is 3 years old. She is just now making memories. I don't remember exactly when it tends to start, but these are going to be some of her first memories of her asking on a Saturday morning to make pancakes with her dad, but he's too busy staring at his phone and yelling at strangers on the internet to buy his book, to the extent that he tells her, "Oh, just wait, just a little bit longer, just a little bit longer," for 2 hours. I don't know how he thinks he's justified in doing this. I know he says he isn't, but um he's saying, "Oh, well, the passion I have for this book is so embarrassing. It came off in such an embarrassing way." Like, no, that's not what that was at all. Um, and the only specifics that he addresses are, "If you don't want to get one, you should unfollow me," which is like, yeah, that's annoying, but he doesn't address the way that he treated his kids, the fact that he suggested that if you were unemployed with no money, you should buy his book. Um, Also, a lot of this is just garbage. Like, what I see is a scared little boy that still gives into Dave, you're like 40 something, right? I don't care. Like, um, and he says, "Oh, I'll talk about it with my therapist or whatever." But like, uh, I don't know. I'm not going to talk too much more about his apology, but I do want to talk um, about the fact that, like, let's just say, for example, I am dead tired, I'm exhausted. I wake up one morning and I'm like, I'm gonna do an Instagram live. I don't even have an Instagram, so um, you know. But I wake up and I'm like, I'm gonna do an Instagram live. And I'm talking about um, I don't know, my own book launch, let's say. And even if you're tired and exhausted and miserable, and you're not all there mentally, and you're just like not having a good time, you are not going to say anything that you wouldn't normally say in terms of sentiment. You know what I mean? Um, I probably could have worded that a little bit better, but basically, just what I mean is that, like, the way that he treated his kids is something that you can't make up. Like, that's not just Dave is exhausted. He told his 3-year-old to get a life because she wanted 2 more gummy vitamins. Like, I think that this is a look into, like, the type of person that Dave really is. And the same thing happened with Rachel when she made her apology. I think both of them act like this normally, but the only times that we see them in a more composed environment are when they post scripted videos, or videos where they can edit and take things out and move things around to make everything that they say look very palatable um, to the audience, and it's at best disrespectful. Um, I do not understand. I do not understand how he can make this apology with so many words and say so little. He is unwilling to bring up exactly what he did. And, I'm not saying that he needs to talk about every single thing that people were upset about, but the only thing he acknowledges is that he asked people who didn't want his book to unfollow him, and he's like, "That's ridiculous, like, you don't need to do that." But that's the only thing he said, um, and so even these comments, um, don't go harass the people in the comments, or anything like that, but people are saying, "Oh, well, Dave, we know you didn't mean it like that." Like, mean what like that? 2 hours of speaking like that? Speaking to your kids like that? Being completely unwilling to serve your 3-year-old breakfast for 2 hours because you're too busy crying on camera asking people to buy your damn book. No, he wasn't actually crying, but, like, um the way that he approached that was so inappropriate. Um, and he very well could have gotten up, brought his phone to the kitchen, propped it up on something, and just started making breakfast for his kids. Like, it's not rocket science to juggle two things. Like, your kids barely saw you. Like, this is the first time they're seeing him in a while, and he's telling them to get a life and to just wait. I'll make you breakfast soon. So, yeah, this wasn't scripted. This was kind of a live react. Um, I like this person's uh thing here. Kind of, I don't know. Um, People are saying, "Oh, well, I didn't watch it, but like, you're imperfect. It's fine." No. I think he needs to address exactly what he did and say why it was wrong and why people shouldn't do that. And I really hope that those kids grow up in a better environment, to be quite honest. He obviously isn't neglecting or abusing them, but the way he treats them is kind of dismissive and just not very respectful. So I don't know. I really think that Dave needs to have another apology where he actually addresses the important things rather than just the fact that he asked people to unfollow. Um, he posted this and then immediately posted his stupid book club thing. Um, so obviously he doesn't feel enough remorse to like sit down and reflect on it. Is this recent? 4 hours ago. Yeah. Okay. Um, so yeah, that is about it from me. I would be happy to continue the conversation in the comments. Um, and yeah, so thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a lovely day.